Move the body if the mind gets stuck. Why, hello and welcome back. This is the second half of my 32 lessons learned in 32 years of life. We shall dive straight into this next half. It will be basically right in, because obviously I just cut it in the middle of the last episode. Let me know which of these you liked the most. This is literally one of the easiest ways to get out of a mindset rut. This is one of the easiest ways to just disrupt your negative kind of like self-talk spiral. It's the easiest way to get yourself out of self-sabotage mode, to just move your body. Move your body in a way that's different, that's new, that you normally don't do. So if you're like in a self-sabotage mode and you're like all slouched down, you're like, I don't know, cuddling yourself a little bit and be like all like tight and tense, well then to get unstuck, like truly get unstuck, open yourself up, be more expansive again. And to those who are listening to this, you can't see, but to those who are watching, I'm like spreading my arms out, I'm moving. So move your body if your mind gets stuck. That can be through workouts, but that can literally be just through body posture and your body language. That already can have such a huge impact on your mind, because your mind will be like, hang on body, this does not align with what we are doing normally when we are in this kind of like state. What's going on? How can we adapt again so it matches? And then obviously you have the chance to consciously decide, okay, yeah, cool, I want to go actually down the positivity route. I don't want to go down the negativity route. And then you can match up with your mind and get back into a state of positivity or zen or whatever you want to be, like into your best self again. The next lesson is, you will want to be the black sheep. So dare to think, do, and be different. If you're one of the white sheeps, you are one of many. So do dare to be the black sheep. Normally, and I'm speaking here of experience because I was the black sheep. I was the first to write a book. I was the first to move away from all of the others in my family because I couldn't stand just trying to fake it to fit in. I don't like putting up a good face to a bad game. That's just not me. I was the black sheep who would be standing out, having strong opinions, standing out even with my outfits. I had like my black emo face, right? So I was always one to stand out. Even when I tried to fit in, I couldn't fit in. I still was different. So dare to be the black sheep, because normally those black sheep, it's nothing bad. It's actually just those who dare to go first. Those who dare to break the cycle, especially in families. They are those who dare to break that generational kind of like cycle of trauma, of betrayal, or whatever that there was, like whatever is like this negativity shit that's going on. Like if you don't want that, then you have now the chance to be the one who says, enough is enough, let's break out of this shithole, like what is this? And by doing that, you very well might inspire others to follow through and find their own color and stop being a white sheep. Next lesson, create your best habits early on so you are set for the rest of your life. What I mean by that is especially, so this is one of those exceptions that goes down if you are now in your 20s. This is the best time. This is the prime time. Or if you are even younger and you're listening to this is the best time to create those best habits, best self habits, so you're set for the rest of your life. With that, I mean habits like taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, taking care of your heart and your soul. Like doing those things that make you feel as your best self. By you putting them, or by you establishing them early in your life, you don't have to worry about that later on, because you already established those healthy, pouring into yourself kind of like habits that will support you throughout the rest of your life. Because habit building can be hard. It can be tricky, and it gets harder the more you're already like stuck in old ways. So why not make those old ways your best ways? If you get what I mean. Okay, next one is start. Whatever it is that you're procrastinating on, start. Get going. I don't care if you do 1 hour a week, if you do a full day a week, if you do 10 minutes a week, if you do, I don't know, 2 days a week. I don't care. I don't care how much time you invest in the start, but start. Start working on what you're passionate about. Start working on that you're currently procrastinating on because you might be scared, because you might be stressed, but you really want to do it and you just can't get it out of your system. Like that's for me, for example, the book. I just couldn't get it out of my system. It still was there. So at some point, I just had to start. Same with the podcast. I just had to start. However small you start with, however small the time is that you spend on it, but do start. Okay? Then the next one is, if you don't ask, you don't receive. So don't say no to yourself before even trying. That kind of like ties into the one I said in the beginning. But if you don't ask, you don't receive. And specifically, I want to touch here on collaboration also with other people or connections with other people. Because very often we don't ask for the support, even though we need it, even though we want it, because we feel like, oh, maybe we are too much of a burden to the others, or because we feel like, oh no, they are like too busy, we can't do that, or because we feel like we don't deserve it, or maybe because we think like we know best and there's nothing for us to learn. But if you don't ask, you don't receive, and that also translates into put yourself out there. Put yourself out there so to create those opportunities. Ask the people for the advice. Ask the people for any tips. Ask to collaborate. The worst thing they can do is say no. Well, that's fine. Maybe they say yes, and that's great. That's a win-win. So again, don't say no to yourself before even trying. Okay, next one. How many do we have left? Let me just quickly check. How many do we have left? Okay, we are now at this one here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, we still have quite a lot to go. Okay, so next one is, there is still more to life to experience. So take it all in. No matter how old you are, no matter if you're in 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, you're not dead yet. And that means there is still more to life to experience. So take it all in. Every single day that you have is a gift. Every single day that you have is an opportunity to do something to enjoy, to be grateful, fucking grateful that you have this additional day in this life. And that's all I'm saying on this one. Next one, next lesson, take action. Do not sleep on your gifts, but also do not sleep on your problems. Do not sleep on your dreams. Do not sleep on your weaknesses. If you want change, take action. Again, this goes into if you want to see change, if you want to see things differently, if you want to improve, grow, whatever it is, take action. You can do all of the inside work that you want to do. If you do not translate that into external work, you will not see any change. So if you want change, take action. If you want to use your gifts to the best advantage, take action. If you want to solve your problems, take action. If you want to make your dreams become reality, take action. If you want to overcome your weaknesses, like becoming maybe more confident, take action, okay? Take action. It's so important. I mean, obviously, I do want to say, because of my coach training, the being part is also very important. Like, who are you becoming in that process? Obviously, most of the time, the action actually helps you to become that new person. But taking action is what will get you there. Without that, you can say, I am a marathon runner as much as you like to. If you are not running, well, you're not a marathon runner. I hate to break it to you, but you have to put in the action, okay? Okay, next lesson. Be a player in your game and not just a spectator. What do I mean by this? If you see someone who's doing something, like maybe writing a book, hosting a podcast, like me, and you're like, oh my gosh, how is she doing that? This is so amazing. I love it. Like, it's such an inspiration. But you keep on watching. You keep on just watching. You keep on not taking any action on it. So if you are fascinated by this game, if you're fascinated by how these things work, if you're fascinated by writing a book, then bloody get into the game and play it. Like, don't just watch other people do it and be like, or even be like, oh, I could do that better. Like, if you maybe read a book and you're like, oh, I could have written that. If you see a painting on the wall, well, I could have painted that, but you didn't. So be a player in your game and not just a spectator and judge. That's not helping anyone. It's not helping you. It doesn't make you feel great. It doesn't make the other person feel great. But what makes the game great is by you playing, by you having fun in it. And then imagine having fun with all of the others who are also playing their own game, and do it together, right? That's where the magic happens. Next lesson, learn how to turn the elephant back into a fly, meaning grow yourself and shrink the problem. The more you grow yourself, the more you invest in yourself, into your own skills, into your own personal growth, the more the problem that maybe in the beginning was a big elephant shrinks into a tiny little fly. And you will be like, oh, that's not that big of a deal anymore. Why was I even worried about that? So focus always on growing yourself rather than the problem, which will automatically shrink the problem. Next lesson. Boundaries over people-pleasing, and learning that they actually serve your relationship to others and yourself. Meaning, if I wouldn't have put up very healthy boundaries, for example, with my mom a couple of years back, and not stop the people-pleasing, I don't think we would have as much of a relationship now that we do, which I'm very grateful for. Like, if you're also, Mom, if you're watching this, love you. But if I wouldn't have put those boundaries in place, if I wouldn't have chosen myself a couple of years back, if I would have continued to give up myself to fake all of this bullshit and be like, oh yeah, everything is fine and we love each other. Like, no, that's just not me. But by putting up those boundaries and be like, I'ma do my own thing for now, you do your thing. Okay, I'ma heal my shit, you heal your shit. And by doing that, we managed to actually fix our relationship and to bond again and to be like a mom and a daughter again. I don't think we would have been able to do that before if I wouldn't have put those boundaries in place and would have said, I need to focus on me. I am my most important person in this one life. I need to focus on me. And this also means to fix the relationship to yourself. Like, there are certain boundaries in people pleasing that are there boundaries to people pleasing that are there to protect you. Like, where are you giving up too much of yourself that is not of service to you? Okay, and that's where you need to put a boundary into place. And this is also the next lesson. So this is a lesson that applies actually to this whole episode. Anything that you consume, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. Whatever lessons worked for me, whatever lessons work for anyone else, any tips, any action steps, any strategies, if they don't work for you, that's fine. So take what resonates, take where you feel like, ooh, that's really a good tip. I want to try that. I want to implement that more into my life. Then do that and leave the rest. You do not have to completely overhaul your whole life. That's not what I'm ever saying here. Because we are here, again, just a reminder, we are here so you can create your best life your way. That doesn't mean you have to copy paste everything that I'm doing, because that doesn't make sense. You don't have my life, I don't have yours. I potentially don't know even who you are unless you tell me. But even then, we don't have the same background, we don't have the same upbringing. Even if some things are similar, it's never ever being the same. So do take only what resonates with you, what is aligned with your values, with your goals, with what you want to do in your life and how you want to feel in your life. And anything else, just leave it. Leave what doesn't resonate with you. Don't put that extra pressure on yourself to have to implement that into your life as well. The next lesson is quit if it doesn't make sense to you. Don't force yourself into a box you don't want to be in. And I want to dive into this example of me going to university, or not necessarily going to university because I never went to the campus, funnily enough, because I did like an international kind of program. So I did distance learning. So all I had was like a big pile of books and me working through it and then sitting the exams and hopefully passing, fingers crossed. It was always like a torture for me. And I could do that in different countries. So it didn't matter where I was, because at that time I was like in Switzerland, Germany, and Finland, and obviously the UK. So I was all over the place. And I couldn't just commit to one place, especially not Germany. I didn't want to be there. So I wanted to be able to have this flexibility to travel. And my goal first was, I will complete my bachelor's degree. That's what I wanted, I thought. For a long time, it was aligned with my goals, because back then, my first goal was obviously to still be a CFO in finance. That was my big goal. I wanted to be the boss of an affiliate in finance in the company I was working for. I thought I will stay at that company for the rest of my life. But as you know, it all changed. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here where we are today. So I had to also make the decision in terms of my study. So I did sit all of my exams. I did all of them, but I failed 2 for the second time, I think. So I think I had 1 more try left, or 2 more tries left to try and pass those to get my bachelor's. But what I had to ask myself was, first of all, is the financial investment worth it? Because it was quite a lot. It was like, I think, another 5K to just sit 2 more exams that I already failed twice. And I really had to put my all into the preparation for these 2 exams for 2 years. There was a huge time investment already. And I was like, do I want to put in some more financial resources and time resources? Because it would have cost me another year, because the exams were only like once a year, which was very, very inflexible, actually. And also I had to ask myself, are they still aligned with what I wanted to do? So at that time, I was like considering, am I staying at the company? Am I staying in this old career? Or am I venturing out into entrepreneurship and I'm being a coach? And I obviously decided for the latter. I decided to be a coach and work on mindset, work on self-doubt and imposter syndrome, and help people change their lives and trust themselves more and become the best version of themselves. So I'm buzzing out all of those fancy coach words and that coach lingo, but you get what I mean. And I had to ask myself, is me working on this degree, trying to finish this degree, the right path and the right support in my new path? That's what I wanted to say. Is this the right support in my new path? And no, it wasn't. It just wasn't aligned anymore. And at the same time, it was such a drag. I was hating it. I literally hated it. I could not sit down for the life of me to focus on these subjects any longer, because I felt so frustrated about it. It just wasn't aligned. It wasn't fun. Even if I had like a teacher to help me with it, it just didn't stick. So at some point I was like, am I a failure because I didn't do it? So there was a lot of self-doubt creeping up for myself. Other people like were like asking, like, oh yeah, you're finishing your degree, right? Like, you're still working on that, like you're still doing that. And I was always like, yeah, I still am, I guess, but I really didn't want to. And that's when I had to say to myself, okay, I need to quit this. And as soon as I made that decision, oh my gosh, it was like taking such a deep breath. It was such a relief. And I could just be like, okay, no, this is not for me. Okay, this is not what I want to do. This is not what I want to spend my time on. I want to right now spend my time on finishing the certification for my coaching, to become fully certified and also accredited with the ICF. I want to give this its proper shot, give this all my attention, and not dilute that with my studies. And at the same time, I was also checking, like, because of all the exams I've already done and with how far I've already come in the university, I actually had enough to get a diploma of higher education. I was like, actually, I'm fine with that. I take my diploma of higher education in economics and management. Thank you. No more, please. This is done. This chapter is closed. So, coming back to the lesson, quit if it doesn't make sense to you. Don't force yourself into a box you don't want to be in. You're not a failure. Sometimes quitting something that is just not aligned with you can be one of the best decisions you've ever made. like me also leaving corporate, like me also leaving my past relationship. It was the best decisions I've ever made. Otherwise, I wouldn't be where I am today with my dream man next to me. Okay, which also kind of leads, and okay, I have to say I'm quite surprised because I just randomly noted these down, all of those lessons, but they have such a great like connection to each other. So they totally make sense. Anywho, the next lesson is communication and trust are the key pillars to a healthy relationship, not just with your spouse, but to anyone. Communicate and trust. Release yourself from all of those expectations of like, I have to answer the messages immediately, for example, or to have to, I don't know, text every single day so we stay friends, or to, I don't know, be like the perfect girlfriend and stuff, or to have those trust issues and just be like, oh, he's going out and like, oh my God, what could he do? I mean, like obviously if there's maybe a history, then your trust issues are maybe justified. But overall, I just completely trust the people that I'm surrounded by. And by clear communication, you can create more of that trust. If you establish those clear communication rules, you can just enjoy the good parts of the relationship, and you do not need to worry about, oh, what is this other person thinking now? Like, are we still friends? Like, what's happening? Just be open and honest with another. That's communication. Okay, we have two left. So which number is that then? Lesson 31, celebrate yourself and your successes, especially if you have self-doubt or imposter syndrome. And if you don't know how, go back to the last episode. Not last episode, because it was a guest one. The episode before, like last solo episode, which is about babysitting your gold medals, because that will talk about celebrating yourself and your success. So I will just leave that there and you can go to that episode because it's a great one. Why am I pointing like to this way? It's not physically there, but you know what I mean. Okay, last lesson. It has to be this one. Go your own way. Trust yourself. And trust yourself always. Again, this is one life that you have, and you want to live it in the best way that you can enjoy it the most. You want to live your best life, and that is by living it your way, by living it how it is aligned to you, by how it feels great to you, by how you trust yourself, by how you're using your gifts, by how you are working on your fears, by how you are connecting with others, by how you are being in the moment and present. Go your own way and trust yourself always, and you will, without doubt, live a life without regret. And I feel like that's what it's all about. And I can definitely say, despite all of those kind of like, maybe other people might call them failures, like redundancy, divorce, burnout, like whatever. If you call them failures, cool, but I call them like as necessary challenges and hurdles I had to overcome in order to get to where I am today, and I do not regret them. I'm actually very grateful for them that they happened, because they allowed this new space to come up and these new opportunities to come into my life, and I have been living my life without regret since, I don't know. I don't think I regret anything in my 32 years of life on this planet, and I want to continue doing so, to not regret anything. With that, first up, I want to know which of these life lessons resonated the most with you, or also what is your top to date, because they can always change, they can always be added, life lesson that you want to share with others. So do share your magic, do share your expertise, please, in the comment section, or send me a message, or comment on an Instagram post, wherever you want to share it. Also do comment on YouTube. And of course, don't forget to like this episode, leave a review on whichever platform you're tuning in from, and subscribe so you don't miss out on next week's episode, which is all about building a life-first business featuring another incredible guest. And with that, I shall soon start into my birthday celebrations, 32 years of me, and I shall see you soon with another episode. Bye.